Hi, I'm Dr. Michaels and I'm your guide on this awesome show called Wellness Parlor. And we're so privileged to have a special guest. Getting her or to get her on this show. Man, you've been through a lot, but nice having you here. Dr. Adenike Bello, consultant, obstetrician, and gynecologist.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Ma, this haircut is distracting. Okay, so straight to the point. Like, some parents are having issues discussing sex with their children. What would you say?
Okay. If discussing sex with a child is an issue, I'll say they probably started too late. Sex education, as we knew it, something that you learn formally in your teenage years as a really awkward interaction between a parent and a teenager, is not the optimal way to go about it.
Whoa.
A child that has been broken into sex talk appropriate for his age from childhood, it's easier to make the transition.
Wow.
As early as 2 years old or less, you start with simple things like teaching them about their privates, teaching them the names of their privates. There are all these cute names that we use for it. I don't even know what vagina is called in childhood, but at least everybody knows.
So what do we use for vagina, or what do we use for them?
Frankly, what is recommended is that they should know the real name.
Wow.
A boy needs to know he has a penis.
Whoa.
A girl needs to know that she has a vagina, but the vagina is not so important to the girl because, well, nothing happens out of it. She doesn't wee out of it. So that's why it's just convenient to use those names. So those cute names are okay to know, but over time you teach them those names. And then so that by the time that they're around 2-ish or more, depending on how much a child can grasp, a child can get to know that those places are private and that private things are private. No one touches you there. Many people will tell you that around that toddler age, they stop washing their child's bum when they're bathing the child.
Exactly, I was going to ask.
To help the child to understand that it's private, no one touches it. Well, they say that I didn't really follow the evidence. I have a girl child whom I needed to make sure was clean. But the boys, yes, I needed them to know on time that no one should touch them there.
Exactly.
So I had them clean. Yeah. So it's easy for a child to tell you that you can't touch me there. So it's easy to transition and teach them age-appropriate behavior. You can't sit on anyone's laps. They're not your dad or me. I don't go around sitting on people's laps. And then it's easier for them to tell you when things are wrong. By the time they're 6-ish, 8-ish, they're old enough to be able to tell you, for you to be able to teach them how, if anyone touches you in the places where I said you are private, you should be able to tell me. Now, puberty usually happens like 10, 12. But for as nutrition has gotten better over the years, it has reduced. So some kids get into puberty as early as 8, 9. Now you shouldn't enter puberty without knowing about it. So that's the appropriate age of sex education at that time. Unlike when we were in school, that many people menstruated for the first time not knowing what it was and just didn't tell anyone, assuming that they will be accused of having done something wrong. So just wash underwear a million times a day. Until finally you get thin enough and someone tells you that that's a period.
Wow. Yeah, exactly. The question came to my mind. I was going to ask that. What would you have loved your dad and mom to have told you or to have done when you were just before puberty, and then when you started experiencing puberty?
Okay, you made that personal, so I suppose I should give a personal answer.
Yes.
The truth is that I'm glad they didn't tell me anything. It would have been a really awkward conversation.
Are you serious?
We didn't have the growing up conversations in which you could tell them things. So
wow.
If I had that, I would have found that really awkward. But really, what would be appropriate for parents to tell children is that you should know the whole
anatomy.
Well, that's might be a bit technical.
But
remember I said minor things, like knowing which your private and knowing what shouldn't be touched and be able to talk about it. But you should know the whole process you're about to go through. Right? For instance, I once thought my daughter was starting her period. And then I now couldn't remember whether I'd gotten that far with her. And I said, have I told you about periods? I said, yes, you told me everything. I said, okay, just checking. Just making sure that I had told you what I was meant to tell you. And so what you should have told them ahead is the changes to expect. Sometimes the changes come upon you before you realize. Like I said, children are going pubertal earlier. I might just be surprised one day to hear your 11 or 12-year-old boy answer instead of the usual high pitch, yes, mommy. Say, yes, mommy. And you're like, when did that happen? So whatever time you catch yourself, make it as seamless as possible. A conversation about changes that bodies go through, about desires and urges. It's not really likely a young boy is going to come and tell you that you've been having wet dreams if you've not had that kind of rapport before. But an expectation about it, about changes that you feel that those girls that you think are disgusting now, very soon you won't think they're disgusting anymore. And that it's okay, it's normal, and we can talk about it if it's awkward for you.
Awesome.
And then as you grow older, as you're a teenager, the age of consent now becomes important. Being able to talk to them about you should say no when you want to say no.
Refusal skills.
Yes, refusal skills, and not to be rude. You know, not everybody will refuse, right? So just be able to teach them to negotiate safe sexual behavior for themselves. But the ones that are not going to abstain and refuse, to be able to negotiate what is safe for themselves.
So like how to say no and yet still maintain friendship, and the guy will not, or the lady will not end up still going ahead.
And I see that you're the conservative type. I'm giving options to the saying no. That to think that all teenagers do not have sex would be like an ostrich putting his neck in the sand. So I'm having a wider worldview that even the ones that are going to say yes safely for themselves, not casual, not multiple, not without protection, and then and to be able to negotiate a better sexual debut or sexual continuance for yourself.
I was going to ask, did you feel somehow when you were going to discuss puberty with your daughter?
No, I just started early. We talked about different things.
And it was very easy for you?
There were times it was awkward. The day I had to describe the sexual act, I could see her eyes opening like a saucer.
What did you say exactly? Can you remember?
No, but I vaguely can, because I've not done it for my last baby, so I think it's in progress. But vaguely, something, depending on how the conversation works up to it.
Like the caller.
No, conversations work up to it. Yes. And then, so, for instance, what I've told my baby so far, when he said that where the babies come from, I said out of mommy's tummy. So I said, how did I come out? So I could honestly tell him that someone cut a knife on my tummy and brought you out. And he thought, wasn't that very painful? He said, I said, no, they give you something dead in it. Then he's going to tell the older ones in all that, they cut mommy's tummy to bring us out. And those ones older, so I didn't come out that way. Came out from mom's butt. Boom. Then I came out and said,
which one is that one?
I now said, so I now have to do a bit of explanation and say that babies, mommies carry their babies. Remember when the dog is pregnant and the dog has a baby? Like that, mommies carry their babies that way, and then you come out through those places that we call private. Why I said I'm not finished conversation with him is that he didn't ask me how they get there, so I've left it so far.
Whoa.
But for the older ones, we've actually spoken about how they get there. How a man and a woman. I'm keeping it simple. I know that world over, you don't have to be a man or woman. You can be two women, you can be two men. I'm not going into that yet. So I said a man and a woman, and they like each other, and that they want to be together. The way you can be together can be any way from just spending time to talking to each other to holding hands, kissing, and then at some point when you decide that you want to take it another step. And what I've taught my children so far is that that's exclusive. Now, as they grow older, they'll learn that it doesn't have to be exclusive. But under 10-year-olds, I think it's safe for them to think it's exclusive, and that it's that part of the intimacy, one of the things that you do privately. Remember I told you those things are private. They're private because no one else sees them, but someone you're private with is. So I talked about the penis and the vagina and how they come together. And they said, isn't that yuck? I said, when it's someone you really like, being that close to the person, it will be important to you. I said, now if it's at the right time of the cycle when you can make a baby, you now make a baby.
Wow.
And then you carry the baby for this number of months and it comes out through a cut in the tummy or through the bone that I told you about before. When my eldest became a teenager,
Yeah.
I wanted to have the position again. Not really sure how much I told him. Now, teenagers, things are awkward to them.
Yeah.
So I said,
Exactly.
I don't want to have that talk with you again. The first time I had the talk, he was okay. He didn't feel anyhow. I said, I just want to be sure I've told you everything. He said, you have. I said, I was 30. He said, you told me. You told me. Okay, what do I next? You told me everything. I don't want to talk with you about it again. I said, okay. And when he went to I told their dad, I'm a very good mom. So it will not take away the awkwardness
All right.
when they're older.
Oh.
But you
How do
can
you manage?
ameliorate
How do you,
it
okay.
by
Being close.
if you have a relationship in which you could talk
The
to each other in the
relationship,
first place, it helps.
Yeah.
And then if you can make it conversational, not we're talking about the birds and the bees. Here you sit down and
So she flow.
yes.
Awesome. So we have been able to discuss that getting to know your child really helps a lot, and in developing a relationship really helps a lot in talking about sex and every other thing that surrounds it. Wow, it's been an awesome time discussing this topic with you, and we just can't wait having you back on this show. Thank you very much, Dr. Adinike Bello, consultant, obstetrician, and gynecologist.
Thank you very much. It was good to be here.
Till next time. Bye.
People tell us you no go if you make come. They laugh in Japanese. These are empty words, the bunch of jobless haters. And not reality. So when you try so hard to be something, they keep on telling you you can't be nothing. It's like you can't breathe, it's like you're suffocating. You gotta stand and tell them that I know better. So make you know the facts. Cause outside there's so much wrong than the rest. Say, Bob, I know the rest. So make you know the facts. Cause outside there's so much wrong than the rest. So Bob, I wanna bless me. And I wanna bless you. And as we do so, we will get alright. The road is tough, but we go by some. The wall is tough, we go break them. No be us at all, not what they do. No matter what they talk, we go make them. The road is tough, but we go by some. The wall is tough, but we go break them. No be us at all, not what they do. No matter what they talk, no say that I know the best. So make you know the best. Cause outside this one, stronger than the rest. Say that I know the best. So make you know the best. Cause outside this one, stronger than the rest. Say that I know the best. And I know the best. And as we get so, we go get alright. Say that I know the best. And I know me bless you. And as we get so, we go get alright. 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 We go get Cause I